So power bills are getting a cash splash, a $300 energy rebate for every Australian, which is capturing the most attention, I think, from this budget. Was that the biggest thing, not just for all Australians, but for retirees?
The budget wasn't trying to please older Australians, and I think at a top level that's probably fair because we're talking about Australia's long-term future. The deeming rates for me were the big one.
And why is that?
Well, to recap on deeming rates, that's the amount that Centrelink assumes you earn on financial assets, which means you get an age pension or you don't. So with nearly 70% of older Australians on a full or part pension, that rate matters and it's well below market levels. So most people will earn about 5% on cash. And the deeming rates are sitting down at 0.25 on the first 50 or 90,000 single couple, or 2.25. So the deeming rates are half what you're actually earning and they're freezing them for another year. It's a big win for retirees.
And will pensions be affected by any of the budget measures?
The fact that there's a freeze on PBS medicines for 5 years.
Yes.
Wow. And given that 60% of scripts that are filled are for people on a pension or a concession card, this is a real saving for older people who, often encounter health issues.
Yeah, that was the one that stood out for me. And the price of scripts on the PBS to be frozen at $31.60 for a year. Medications in general have been sort of caught up with some good budget announcements, and particularly with that $7.70 freeze for pension and concession card holders on scripts for 5 years. It's a welcome move, that's for sure. Now, they're not retirees yet, but if younger people are preparing for their retirement, well, getting superannuation payments on maternity leave while you're in the public service, which was one of the budget announcements, will that be helpful?
I think it's helpful at many levels. I think it's helping younger people get more money into super for when they eventually retire. It's probably doing a huge amount for the gender gap in terms of income. If the government is doing this, the public service, it gives a strong lead to industry that they may need to match this in some way, shape or form.
So broadly, this budget, as you say, not particularly focused at retirees or older Australians, but they're not being hard done by either.
Are retirees better off or worse off? They're facing the same cost of living pressures as other parts of Australian society, and structurally people in retirement remain underfunded, and they have to be able to look more broadly at ways of earning more, be it we've spoken about work income, be it about accessing more out of the money they've gathered in their family home, that we need a broader discussion and better financial literacy so people really understand what their choices are going forward.
Yeah, and this is very much an election budget. We'll all be going to the polls by May of next year, and there's quite a few millions of dollars set aside for that election war chest. Let's see what else might be announced as an election sweetener in the lead up to that. Kaye, always great to talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deb.